Did I scare you? I hope I did. If not, I'm gonna be real sad. You wanna know what else I'm really sad about? Watching this movie. Five Nights at Freddy's 2, directed by Emma Tammy and made by Blumhouse, is one of the worst movies I have seen in 2025. Now, I'm just gonna say this right now. If you do not want to continue listening to this video, you are free to leave. If you do not care about my opinions, you are free to leave. I'm going to continue to talk about why I did not enjoy this movie. If that is such a hard thing for you to do, I apologize that you are still a child. But for the people who are staying, please understand I am not going to enjoy every single movie ever. I made a video talking about how just because a movie was made and it was made for fans and it was meant to be a certain way does not mean it automatically should get a 10 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10 or whatever. It's okay to like a movie because it involves your favorite franchise, like with me and Sonic, but you gotta be realistic with yourself as well. But hey, at the end of the day, that's just how I see it. If you view it differently, if you want to think this movie is perfect and has no flaws whatsoever, if you think it's a 10 out of 10 movie, then go ahead. Don't let me stop you from enjoying this movie. At the end of the day, it's your opinion, and now I'm going to talk about my opinion. Video game movies are getting worse and worse by the year, and I swear it's becoming way too common for this. With examples like Borderlands and the Minecraft movie, and now Five Nights at Freddy's 2, these are some awful fucking movies that have come out, and people just keep eating it up and saying it's really good. Now, granted, I don't think people were like that with Borderlands, but for the Minecraft movie, for example, people ate this shit up. These companies are seeing that you enjoy this slop, and they're going to keep feeding you this slop because people keep asking for it. I've said it before with other movies, and I'll say it again for this one. FNAF 2, I'm just going to call it FNAF 2. FNAF 2 is going to age so horribly, and we are going to look back at this movie and regret praising it because it is going to be horrible looking back at it. Just look at the Minecraft movie right now. It already looks like a dated fucking movie. It looks so awful. I should also note this, like I do in every other video. I'm a massive Five Nights at Freddy's fan. I know a lot about the lore. I keep up with it. I watch a lot of videos about it, and I'm very knowledgeable in the whole story. So I knew what to expect with this new movie as far as its story and lore implications. And even looking back now, I would even say the first Five Nights at Freddy's movie isn't the worst thing ever. It's still pretty mid, not amazing, but it's still fine. This movie is just so fucking awful. But again, if you don't agree with me on that, then it's perfectly fine. I really want people to understand it's okay to like this movie. Don't let what I say, like, affect you. If you're taking offense to someone else not liking this movie, it says more about you than anything else. It really just shows, like, you can't take criticism or you can't stand the fact that other people don't like the things you like. It really just shows your immaturity. Because really, that's how I see a lot of the Five Nights at Freddy's fans right now on Twitter. They're just immature children. So the movie, let's talk about it. I think it's best to talk about the good. I'm going to talk about the good, then I'm going to talk about the bad, and I'm going to talk a lot more about the story in itself. So the movie had some decent sound design. There was a lot of sounds that I recognized from Five Nights at Freddy's, specifically the second one. There was a lot of cool effects that I heard, or sound effects, you know? Like, it definitely sounded like a creepy-ass movie. And the animatronics looked really cool. I'm pretty sure the entire budget went to these animatronics. I would also even say that the opening scene, the opening, like, Fazbear Freddy's, like, pizzeria location, the first one actually looked pretty good. It looked really well put together. Honestly, it looked like a real place. It looked pretty great. That's it for the good. Yeah, it's not gonna be great going forward. Let's start with the characters. Mike, for example, acts so alienated from everything in reality. He almost acts like a zombie half the movie, like he doesn't even know what he's doing. I'll talk about acting later, but holy shit, his attitude towards Vanessa in his entire film is just so uncalled for. If he just sat down and had one simple conversation with Vanessa, so many things, or so many of his problems would have been solved. There's also his friend character that shows up throughout the entire movie randomly with no reasoning whatsoever, just pops out of the void. He just shows up to help Vanessa on the road. Vanessa has a lot more focus in this movie. She's more involved with the plot because it deals with Charlotte, the marionette puppet girl, or the girl that possesses the marionettes. Those two had a relationship back in the old Fazbear's Entertainment location, so she's way more involved in this film. Abby's character is just Abby. She is the whole reason why Josh wakes up. He loves his family, he loves his sister. She's the reason for everything. She has a connection with the animatronics, so this plays into the story. They introduced this new character named Michael in the film, and yeah, if you know anything about Five Nights at Freddy's, then you know exactly who he is. His character is supposed to be like the new villain of the franchise, even though we know damn sure that William Afton is going to come back. He always comes back. And yeah, his character was just fine, but he really wasn't threatening whatsoever, and his plan was also kind of fucking weird. The marionette is a weird character because it seems like her anger towards parents is just at some points uncalled for, but it does make sense because she was feeling angry, you know, right before she died. And I'm only giving like light spoilers to like things you should know about Five Nights at Freddy's. If you don't even know anything about Five Nights at Freddy's 2 and 1, and eventually 3, and probably every other Five Nights at Freddy's just to be safe, then everything that I'm talking about is probably going to be mild spoiler. But yeah, the Marionette's character is kind of weird because she's like working with Michael, it seems like, but she's also not. They don't really explain their relationship, if there even is one, so that's just kind of weird. And of course, we have the animatronics from the first movie and the new one as the new toy animatronics. And they're just animatronics. They're very one-dimensional characters. They're honestly just props, it seems like at times. There really just is nothing special about these animatronics. They're just possessed animatronics by children. And now let's get to performances. Everyone's acting fucking sucked. Abby is quite literally one of the worst child actresses I've seen in a very long time. Never in my life have I seen a child actress sound more monotone and uninspired and boring than me. She seriously just does not give a fuck throughout this entire movie. It's almost like she's just reading the lines and she's just saying them, not performing them at all. And again, well, not again, but some people could be like, well, that's not fair, James. That's a child actress. Brother, I've seen so many child actresses and actors that have done so many amazing performances. There's no excuse here. And I know Blumhouse has a history of hiring like C-listed actors and actresses, but my god, everyone just did not give a fuck with this movie. Even Josh Hutchinson's and the girl who played Vanessa, I don't even care about looking them up. They just did not give a fuck this entire movie. Mike's character, or Josh's like performance, was so boring this entire movie. He honestly felt like he was just ready to go to bed and did not care. Matthew Lillard cannot be taken seriously. I'm sorry. I know that's a very like hot take. I know he was recently roasted by Quentin Tarantino, but it's just true. Like, I just cannot take this guy's performance seriously in anything that he ever does. Like, yeah, it was entertaining seeing him do it, but he's just so laughably like laughable. But hey, I think he tried, I will say. I think out of everyone, he probably tried the most, as well as MatPat. Him voicing the animatronics is the only one who actually tried. Whoever voiced Toy Freddy and Megan Fox voicing Chica or Toy Chica, oh my god, so awful. I know they're supposed to be robots, but they could have just tried harder, or tried in general, because I don't think they did try. It seems like they just read the script and just went on with it, and they didn't make any changes whatsoever. Wayne Knight, the chicken man, is not in an animatronic, but he gets killed by a chicken. That's pretty funny. Yeah, honestly, everyone's performance has put me to sleep. Like, I just was so bored the entire movie. I know, again, this is a Blumhouse movie. It's not really, like, that crazy to say this. It's actually very low-hanging fruit to say that they hired not-so-great actors, but I swear it feels like they just do not try at times. To cut to this point, this movie's gonna make millions of dollars. It's gonna make its budget back also. So I guess there's no point in even trying. Just release the movie apparently, and it's gonna get high scores and a lot of money. That's all that people care about. The writing was fucking atrocious. Never in my life have I seen a movie so confused on its entire plot line. So, first off, the jokes they were trying to throw out was just not funny and did not work. One of the main things I was fucking annoyed was that the movie brought up, you know, like criticisms against the games, like how there's no door in the main office. And yeah, that's a big mystery in Five Nights at Freddy's 2. As a video game, it doesn't make sense in the game. We question it in the game. But the movie decided to bring this up and did not answer it. What is the point of making these references to these jokes about criticisms against the game when you're not even going to do anything about them? You have so many you have the entire opportunity to do something, but they just don't. They also make other jokes about like, oh, who would ever want to go to Five Nights at Freddy's, or like, who would ever want to go here? It's like, why are you bringing up these like fourth wall jokes when you're not even going to answer them? It's just like, oh my god, Five Nights at Freddy's. Am I right, crowd? Everyone clap and laugh right now. That is what this writing felt like. It felt like it just did not care because it knows who it knows who is going to be enjoying this. So many times in this movie, people made decisions for absolutely no fucking reason. There was a moment where Josh had to get back home to get to her sister because she was in trouble. So instead of just going directly to her, you know, like protecting his sister, he just goes to the first Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria to get assistance from the other animatronics. I'm not gonna say too much about that, but why doesn't he go to her directly? I guess his master plan was just for that, I guess that was just so important to gamble her sister's life on this hope that this plan might work. Also, with the writing, the pacing is just fucking awful as well. People just teleport to places instantly in an evening and it doesn't make sense at all. Like, do they live next to Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria? I thought this place was supposed to be shut down and abandoned, but apparently everyone could just fucking walk there, including 11-year-old unsupervised children. Also, they made a joke about how, like, Toy Chica helped Abby make a robot. So they make this joke that Freddy has, like, his fingers are too big, but Chica's fingers are just fine enough to help her make an actual little robot, little toy. But also in the movie, they need Abby to access this keyboard for something, and apparently Chica's fingers are, like, not enough. Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. Did they forget about this thing that they established? Apparently Toy Chica's fingers are small enough to help her build a fucking robot, but not small enough to access a keyboard? God, who wrote this fucking movie? Oh, what do you expect? Scott Cawthon. Yeah, it's no surprise Scott Cawthon is an awful writer, but holy fucking shit, it seems like he just does not give a fuck. He has clearly taken the money and ran. It just does not care. There was other times where, like, characters were just in a situation where, oh, they're being chased by the animatronics, but I'm not going to do anything to help myself get out of it. Oh no, I'm stuck in this water that's 2 feet tall. However, will I get out? There's also a time where Abby just trusts the toy animatronics for no given reason. I guess she just desperately misses the animatronics and she doesn't question anything at all. I mentioned it earlier, but there is just so many times where Mike just gets upset with Vanessa for no fucking reason. One conversation would have solved everything, and, like, even towards the end, he's still mad at her, and, like, just like, what the fuck is wrong with Mike in this entire movie? There was one part that was pretty funny with Corey again. He does the whole, why am I doing this shit? That was pretty funny. It was probably funnier the first movie, I will say. There's just other times where, like, people are just not being subtle. Like, Chica, like, was like, I'm gonna see what's inside that teacher's head, and, like, she's just not subtle at all. It's just like looking at the camera or looking at the audience and say, I'm gonna kill this person. Am I right, audience? The movie was not fucking scary. This failed as a horror film yet again. There was one scene with the marionette controlling a certain someone, and that was kind of creepy. I gotta, like, oh, well, oh, that's creepy. But that is really just it. There were lots of jump scares, of course, throughout the film, and they just did not work. They're just so predictable too. You just know when they're going to come. I did appreciate how the ambient sounds and sometimes even the soundtrack helped make it sound a bit creepy, but it really just isn't. It really just isn't that scary, except for that one scene. This movie was very, very funny, but in the wrong reasons. So there's this moment at the beginning of the movie where Mike picks up a toy and it does the horror, and I'm not even joking. The moment that happened, I instantly did not take this movie serious for another second. It is just impossible to take Five Nights at Freddy's seriously anymore. This franchise is quite possibly one of the funniest franchises I have ever known. That is why I love it so much. It's not scary at all. It can be creepy, it can be pretty scary when new shit is made, but just because of how popular it is, I just cannot find this franchise scary, and I will never, possibly. It's just too funny. They did the har joke in this movie. How on earth is anyone supposed to take this movie seriously and think it's scary when I just can't help but think everyone is just laughing at this movie? I know I was laughing at this movie every, like, few minutes. Like, there's these, like, horror movie tropes that they do where, like, someone is in the fridge and they close the door and, like, there's Bonnie right there. It's just like, how is this shit not, like, a comedy at this point or a parody? This movie is just a blatant parody, and everyone should just accept that. This movie will never be scary at all. It is just so embarrassingly funny, if anything. And I say embarrassing because it tries so hard to be scary, and it's just not. Look at Toy Freddy, or look at any animatronic dead in the face and tell me you think that's scary. Look at any other meme that has been out there and made and think to yourself, like, is this franchise even scary anymore? Hell, there's a certain scene where it involves a car crash, and it is the funniest shit ever. They even had some extreme close-ups with Mike's eyes, and it's just like, again, this is a comedy. And while that was happening, a lot of the other intended jokes were just not funny at all. Like, there was this joke about some neighbors needing to find a lawyer. I don't know what that was supposed to mean, but hey, maybe I will if I probably do a little bit of research. But every other intentional joke was just not funny except for Corey. That was it. I have no idea what this movie is supposed to do for people. I don't think there's a message. I guess not follow in your family's footsteps and become a fucking murderer. But then again, that's what Michael does. And yeah, like, I can't really say anything else about like lighting or anything or like camera shots. It was just very basic. Like maybe there's a few shots here and there involving the animatronics, and oh yeah, there was one where they referenced the game title screen. That was pretty okay. But there is honestly nothing left I can talk about this movie except spoiling it. So yeah, I'm gonna talk about the movie a little bit more, or in much more detail right about now. If you don't want to hear anything, get on out of here. So yeah, it takes place sometime after FNAF. We get a flashback involving the first Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, where we get to learn about the origin of Charlotte, and we get to find out that she really loves the puppet and that's her favorite animatronic, but one day she stumbled upon into the back of the pizzeria and saw that a child was getting kidnapped or something, and she tried to go rescue him, but she eventually got stabbed in the back, and before all that, she was even trying to tell some parents like, oh my god, there's this kidnapping, and the parents don't take this accusation seriously. It's the level of writing where it's like, parents are dumb, am I right? They don't believe in anything. Like, this is a fucking kidnapping, like, accusation, and the parents just do not care, but whatever. But yeah, she dies, and her soul gets involved with the marionette. It's obvious if you know Five Nights at Freddy's 2. One of her last emotions was anger, and she was angry towards the parents, so that's how she is. And she also has this music box from Vanessa when she was a kid, because though they were friends, and the music box is what helps her go to sleep. So yeah, there was this other Fazbear's Entertainment Pizzeria location that's been shut down for a very long time. And we joined the main characters, which is Mike and Abby, and they're trying to get associated with life. Mike is trying to date Vanessa, but Vanessa is super bored, so she's like, alright, let's date. Abby is trying to make real life human friends that are stuffed in animatronics, and she's having a hard time doing that. Her teacher is comically evil for no fucking reason, and kind of like rude, extremely rude for no reason, but doesn't matter, he fucking dies eventually. So one night she decides to then go see the animatronics from the first movie because those are her friends and she cares about them, but it turns out the souls of those animatronics have left and they're no longer there. Mike has apparently been keeping this a secret, I believe, because he didn't want to hurt her and, you know, expose the truth. So she's sad, but she picks up a new toy, and that's also where they do the har. And then she gets this, like, radio, and she eventually gets a message from the animatronics from the other Fazbear location. And this is where we meet Toy Chica. Very interesting that they decided to start off with Toy Chica. Just saying, everyone knows that meme. But yeah, so they get along. Like, Toy Chica's pretending to be the other, like, soul of the child, but in reality it's just the marionette controlling the animatronics, and the marionette is trying to get out because she needs someone to unlock something to let them free. Also, before all of this, Mike is leaving the pizzeria from that one night he picked up the toy and the plushie. He saw a poster and saw that there was another Fazbear location, and he uses this information to get pissed at Vanessa. And Vanessa's like, why do you care so much? Yeah, there was another pizzeria. My dad killed a lot of people. And he gets real upset at her for a while and keeps his distance from her, which is really fucking weird and uncalled for. All this while Abby is forming this relationship with the toy animatronics, and she eventually wants to get them to escape to build this toy and also to get them to go to the science fair. All this is happening while there is this like YouTube people or series, I guess they were on YouTube. They were like, discovering and like exploring abandoned places, and they went to the Fazbear locations, and that's where we meet Michael Afton. And he sort of lures these people in also. He gets them killed by the animatronics inside the new location, but the marionette also takes the soul of one of the YouTubers. I'm calling them YouTubers, but I don't really know if they were that. So the marionette has a body, and there's this really cool effect where she possesses them, but they also don't show her really doing that. It's implied that the marionette like goes inside the body and like controls them from the inside, but they cheap out and don't really show that. So with her new body, she ties up Vanessa because she goes exploring there trying to get answers, trying to figure out why they were there in the first, or the old location, the second pizzeria. She goes there and gets trapped, and she sees that Abby is also there trying to get the animatronics out for the science fair. That's where everything meets up. Eventually, after Josh was meeting with Henry, yes, Henry Emily is in this movie, and I'll get to that later. He meets with him because he saw the poster and was like, hey, what do you know about this? And he tells the story about how, like, yeah, William Afton was a fucking psycho and my life was ruined and I lost my daughter. So he then realizes that his sister is in trouble because there's something connecting the dots. I don't know, honestly. The movie doesn't really care about pacing. So after Abby sets all the animatronics free, they go around exploring the city. Chica goes to the science fair with the teachers there and comically kills him in a science room or whatever. They don't even show his full death, really, to just cut to another shot. I know it's rated PG-13, but like, come on. Why even hint at it? All the other animatronics are going to hunt parents that they're pissed off at. Mike releases Vanessa after he gets there, and they're trying to go and find the animatronics, but apparently they need to track them, and the only way to track them is at the computer in the pizzeria. That's what I meant to say. So he sits there, plays Five Nights at Freddy's 2. He talks about, oh, like, why does the mask work? Why doesn't my flashlight work? Or, haha, why is there no door? So he does that, and that works for a while, and I swear he takes the longest fucking time to track these animatronics. All that while communicating with Vanessa, and Vanessa gets into a little tussle with Mangle, and she's on top of the car, and as Vanessa's running away and driving away. And it just so happens she crashes into a ditch, but then gets back on the road, and then crashes into the house where Toy Freddy is. And there's that scene where the fucking Mangle just flies through the window and crashes into Toy Freddy. Toy Bonnie is stalking another child and tries to kill a mom. All that while Toy Chica is just at the science fair, just wandering the hall. It's just, this child brought a fucking, like, 8-foot tall animatronic, and no one is questioning it at all. No one is freaked out, even though people should know the story. It's just funny to me that this animatronic just walked around the entire school unsupervised, literally committing murders, but whatever. Yeah, she wins a science fair, then she goes home, she takes a nap, and then it turns out that Toy Chica was actually being controlled personally by the puppet, and the puppet controls Abby, and everyone finds a way to get to the house. And this is when Josh takes a detour to get something. This is also the time where when Vanessa's trying to get to the house, that one friend from the first movie that was in the movie for like 5 minutes shows up out of nowhere, and he just helps her get there, and he's just like, man, what's going on? No, you got crazy eyes. It just wasn't funny. So yeah, everyone's there, and all the animatronics are wandering around the house and surrounding everyone. There's this cool scene where Abby is possessed, and it really is creepy, and like, I will say that's a pretty cool scene. But eventually Josh shows up with the music box and sets her free. Or I think Vanessa did it, actually. Someone shows up with the music box, Abby is free, the puppet off screen slides out of her guts or whatever, and then we don't see the puppet for a minute, but then Michael Afton shows up. The guy who was in the beginning of the movie wasn't really that impressive, but shows up and is like, I've been following you guys all along. They implied that, oh, like, the animatronics are going to kill everyone at Fast Fest and there's going to be blood on the streets or whatnot, but that doesn't happen. There's this fight that happens in the kitchen, and I swear Blumhouse loves starting fights in kitchens. I don't know what it is about them in their movies, but they just love this. They talk about Fast Fest so much in this film, and it doesn't matter at all. Nothing happens during Fast Fest. It's just talked about a bunch and then nothing happens. Just a waste of time. But yeah, it turns out Josh was getting the animatronics from the first movie to all come back. Even though it doesn't also make sense why they're in their forms that they are. They implied that the animatronics from the first movie were parts and, you know, scrapped up and withered. You know, how they were in the second game, even though that involves a third set of animatronics, but that's neither here nor there. But they say or imply that the animatronics from the first movie were scrapped and beat up and withered. But then they come to the house to help Abby one final time. Spoiler, you're already here. They come and help her one final time, and they're their normal selves before they were withered, and it just doesn't make any sense. I'm trying to wrap my head around what happened. Like, did they possess a different set of animatronics? Was there, I mean, I know there is other locations, obviously. There's 4, well, maybe 6. It doesn't matter. Like, I don't understand how they went from their withered form to their normal forms. Was it a visual thing? Was it just them, like being their normal selves because they were technically ghosts? I don't know. Yeah, then they beat up the toy animatronics, and I swear the movie wants you to clap at this scene. Like, it is so dumb. You just know no one fucking cared. Hell, even my audience that I was at, no one was fucking clapping. No one cared. Everyone was just like, oh wow, they're here, and then they die because they left their location. Apparently they're bound to that place, and they moved on, and Abby's sad, whatever, and she learns to accept it, and they leave, but Mike is still pissed at Vanessa for some fucking reason, because all that was happening, Michael was like, I'm the true bad guy, I'm going to do what my dad did, and Vanessa, you're going to join me, and Vanessa clearly communicated that she does not want to join Michael Afton, but apparently to Mike, he still doesn't care, and he just wants her out of his life. He's such a fucking weirdo, man. This is obviously not the same character from the first movie, and it's so obvious. So yeah, Mike leaves Vanessa, they walk out, and then they leave their own house. And then Vanessa, while not looking, gets controlled by the puppet. And then the movie fucking ends. And yeah, no, go figure, they set up FNAF 3. I also forgot to mention, but there was a time where Vanessa was after the date or after some period of time, she had a dream sequence of her dad like killing her. And there was a cool scene where she transitioned from an adult to a child. That was pretty cool. And then they show off baby, and I was just like, oh my god. Then the movie ended and I'm like, oh my god, they're setting up every fucking movie. They spent so much time in this film setting up what is going to be the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th movie, I promise you. They set up FNAF 3 because the post-credit scene shows that Springtrap is coming, he never dies. They basically tease FNAF 4 because of the whole dream sequence and the whole fear that the animatronics can give. At least that's my theory. That's the weakest one, but that's my theory. They're setting up FNAF's sister location because they're showing off Baby. And then the final post-credit scene, if you decide to stay that long, they're setting up FNAF 6 because there's Henry talking about, I have this way of trapping Vanessa or Charlotte. They spent so much time setting up these other movies and they could not focus on the movie they were trying to tell. I am just so at a disbelief with this fucking franchise. Of course, it's Blumhouse. Like, what do you fucking expect? It's a Five Nights at Freddy's movie. What do you expect? So, yeah, that was Five Nights at Freddy's 2. It's not a good movie. I talked a very long time about this movie because I know there's going to be people blindly hating on my video without even letting me explain myself. I explain in detail a lot of things in this movie. What I don't like, what I did like. And I would never blindly hate on a movie just because. But this movie just was not good. And that's the way I saw it. And again, if anyone else out there loved this movie, that is perfectly fine and I really want that for you. But I'm sorry. This movie was just not great, and I'm giving it a 2 out of 10. I can sort of see myself giving this a 3 out of 10 on a good day. I can see that there are some good things about it. Like I keep saying, just because I gave it this score doesn't mean it's like the worst thing ever. Like, there are things to enjoy about it, and I can understand why people do love this. Hell, on a better day, I can maybe see this getting a 4, but I really can't go any higher than this, so I am sticking with my score of 2 out of 10. That's just the way I feel about it, and I hope that no one sees this as a serious issue with the movie, because like I keep mentioning, if you enjoy the movie, that's all that matters. Forget what I say. There is so little to say that is good about this movie. I wish I could say more, but I've talked a lot about this movie enough, and that's all I want to say. Can't wait for Five Nights at Freddy's 3 because it's definitely going to happen. This movie has also made its money back because of day one budget or box offices. It had such a low budget so they don't even need to try anymore. Just release it and it will make millions and millions of dollars. A fast $1 billion. So yeah, what do you guys think? Make sure to share this video with a lot of people, and yeah, I'm really interested in having conversations with people about what they liked about this movie. I really am, and if you really want to talk about it, I am more than happy to chat about it. So yeah, anyone, feel free to let me know what you thought about the movie. I'd love to know what you enjoyed, what you personally liked. Really, I do. I don't want you to think that I fucking hate this movie. I mean, I still love FNAF. Like, I could see myself watching this again, but not to really take it that seriously. Yeah, that's it. Everyone, you have a great rest of your night.